and eat a meal without having to move loads of stuff out of the way first. You've probably cleaned your dining table 1,000 times only to have stuff pile back up again. Well, we are going to fix that clutter creep in this video. Let's go. Hi guys, it's Laura and this is Clutter Free in 5, a challenge to help you declutter small spaces in your home that will have a big impact on your daily life, and all in just 5 minutes. Not putting my hands on the table because it shakes the camera like that. We are on day 9, so if you've missed any of the previous ones, you can catch up right here. And be sure to subscribe so that you don't miss the rest. Okay, let's declutter your dining table and keep it that way. This is probably your kids' homework station. It's possibly your crafting corner, might be your home office where you sit down, go through paperwork, pay bills, things like that. And those things are perfectly fine as long as you can also actually use it as a dining table. So set your timer for 5 minutes, and the first thing you're going to do is to grab anything that you know is trash or recycling and get rid of it. Now you want to remove everything else, and as you are picking it up for each item, ask yourself if you really, genuinely want to keep it. If you want to make space for it, store it, manage it, maintain it, clean around it. Are you willing to let that thing take up visible, physical space on your table, somewhere that you're going to see it every day? And if not, are you willing to get that thing out and put it back every day? If not, out it goes. Now for the stuff that is staying, put it in very broad categories like homework stuff, crafting stuff, etc. We're not returning anything to its rightful place just yet. Right now, all we're doing is evaluating. Now, based on those piles and just your general knowledge of what your dining table has to put up with on a daily basis, make a mental list or even a physical list of all of the jobs that your dining table does. At this stage, then, you have 2 choices. You can either choose another space or area where that activity can be done from now on, or you can just accept that the dining table is where it's at. Now, obviously, that does not mean that the stuff has to stay spread out all over your table, but it just may be that the dining table is the best place for that activity to be done. If you do choose to move it somewhere else, if you decide from now on that you're going to craft in a different area, be mindful of the fact that there will be some kind of adjustment period there. And I'm not saying you definitely should not do it, but just be aware that taking yourself out of your normal routine and your normal habits will take a little bit of time to get used to. So once you prepare yourself for that, all should be fine. Okay, so your table is all now nice and clear. What I want you to do is take a moment to appreciate it and to admire it. If you remember in the intro video, I talked about what I call the echo effect, and that is essentially what is happening right now when you're looking at your nice empty table. It is that feeling of spaciousness, and when we have that, we're not as inclined to just fill that space up with junk again. Now, the next 3 steps are going to be crucial if you actually want to maintain a clear table. First, let's go back to those broad categories. Now, I did already kind of mention this, but I want to dive into it a little bit deeper, and that is whether the table, dining table, breakfast bar, whatever that space may be for you, whether that is the best place for that activity. I also talked about that adjustment period, but I also now want to talk about the should trap. Don't fall into that idea that something should be done somewhere else. Maybe you think that your kids should be doing their homework in their room, but realistically, is that how your day-to-day life runs? We all have these ideas of, in a perfect world, the dining table would always be clear. The kids would go do their homework in their room and, tidy up after themselves. The reality is that most kids will come home from school. One of the first places they'll come into probably is the kitchen dining area. They'll drop their bag, they might grab a snack, they probably chat to you about their day, and then they're waiting for dinner. So it's only natural for them to gravitate towards the first available space and do their homework there. So don't fall into that should trap. By all means, if you feel that another space would be more suited to the activity, then go ahead and move it there. But don't allow yourself to feel that, well, I should be doing this task somewhere else. If the dining table is working for you, by all means, go for it. Now, if you do feel that there is another space that would be genuinely better suited to that activity, then go ahead and set that broad category of things aside so that you can put it back there later. Second, then, for the stuff that is left, find a system that you think is going to work well for you. Now, I know this can sound really complicated, systems, but it could be something as simple as just getting a basket to actually put all the papers into. It could be having a little homework caddy with all the kids' supplies, all the things they will need. It might be something as simple as, you know, if you've got a hutch or a side table or something like that, just clearing out one shelf so that you can actually transfer stuff to there. Remember the question that we asked ourselves in the intro video, and that is, what is the simplest solution that you could start with? Boxes, tubs, baskets, totes, things like that. Anywhere that you can very easily transfer the stuff from your dining table to an out-of-the-way place when you do need to sit down and eat a meal. And third, then, because not everything falls into a nice neat little category, what are the other smaller types of things that always seem to end up on your dining table? Really try and get to the root of the problem. Like, what is this thing and why does it keep ending up here? What is the obstacle that is preventing me or a family member from putting that thing where it goes? How can I make that process much smoother and easier? For example, if you always find that junk and bits of scrap paper and things always seem to end up on your dining table, maybe it's because there isn't a nearby bin or recycling box. And I'm not suggesting that you go and put a big trash can beside your dining table, but maybe just a little basket or a little tub or something, so that when the kids are finished with their crafting project or finished with their homework, they can start collecting all of their little bits. So once you get to the root of the problem and you have come up with a really simple solution that you hope will solve it, now it's just about putting in some very basic, very simple ground rules. It could be something as simple as your kids can't watch TV until their homework has been put into their backpacks. In our home, my daughter is responsible for clearing and setting the table every day before dinner. Those systems, really simple, basic systems, and those simple rules are what are going to keep your table nice and clear. Now all you have to do is wipe it down, and again, just take a step back and admire your handiwork. To celebrate then, what I want you to do is break out the fancy plates, you know, the really good plates that you save for guests, and the fancy napkins. You know, you deserve to use that stuff. Maybe put some fresh flowers on your table, maybe some candles, but just really set your table so that you can enjoy a lovely, cozy meal. You don't have to keep it that way all the time, but for at least one night, do that. Treat yourself like a queen. Next up, we are going to tackle a space that everyone has, but I think in an ideal world, most people wish they didn't have that space. So make sure that you subscribe and that you watch the next video on tackling the junk drawer. Go raibh míle maith agaibh. Agus feice mé sibh go luath. Slán!